The Galactic Academy's final examination had broken stronger species than humans. Isla watched through the observation deck as the transport pod descended toward the hostile moon of Kepler 442b, her stomach tight with anticipation. Beside her, Oliver pressed his palm against the reinforced glass, his jaw set with determination. Candidates Isla Chen and Oliver Martinez, the proctor's voice crackled through the intercom, its synthetic tone devoid of emotion. You have 72 standard hours to complete 3 objectives: construct adequate shelter, secure sustainable food sources, and survive the indigenous predators. Failure in any category results in immediate disqualification from the Academy. The other species had advantages. The krill possessed natural armor plating. The Venturi could photosynthesize. The Quilloon had built-in echolocation that made navigation effortless. Humans had stubbornness, pattern recognition, and an alarming tendency to befriend things that wanted to eat them. Ready? Oliver asked as the pod's doors hissed open, revealing a landscape of purple vegetation and crystalline rock formations. Let's show them what humans do best, Isla replied, shouldering her pack. The first 12 hours were textbook survival. They found a cave system with multiple exits, always planned for escape routes, and reinforced the entrance with fallen logs and woven vines. Oliver's engineering background proved invaluable, as they constructed a fire pit with proper ventilation, while Isla's biology expertise helped identify edible fungi growing along the cave walls. By hour 16, they had running water thanks to a filtration system Oliver jury-rigged from their limited supplies and hollow reeds. The examiners would be taking notes. Humans were adequate at survival basics, nothing special. Then the predators arrived. They came at dusk, 6-legged creatures the size of earth wolves, covered in obsidian scales that reflected the moon's bioluminescent glow. Their eyes were multifaceted like insects, and their jaws could probably crush bone. The exam briefing had called them Nexu predators, apex hunters with pack intelligence. Most species would hide. Some would fight. Humans did something else entirely. Don't make eye contact, Isla whispered as 3 of the creatures circled their camp. But don't show fear either. We need to establish boundaries. Oliver slowly stood, making himself large, and banged his metal canteen against a rock. A sharp, rhythmic sound. The Nexu recoiled, their scales rattling in what might have been confusion. When one stepped closer, Oliver threw a burning branch near, not at, its feet. The creature retreated. Operant conditioning, Isla murmured, a slight smile crossing her face. They're smart enough to learn. Over the next day, something remarkable happened. The Nexu kept their distance but didn't leave. They watched the humans with evident curiosity. When Isla and Oliver prepared food, they tossed scraps toward the pack. Always the same amount. Always at the same time, always in the same spot. By hour 40, one of the smaller Nexu was eating from Isla's hand. The examiners were definitely paying attention now. This is unprecedented, came a supervisor's voice over Oliver's emergency communicator, which they'd kept off to conserve power. Candidates, are you aware you're fraternizing with the primary threat element? Respectfully, Oliver responded, scratching behind what he assumed were the Nexu's ears. We've neutralized the threat by making them not threats. Isn't that more efficient? Isla laughed, watching as 2 more Nexu cautiously approached their camp. She'd noticed their pack behavior. The way they communicated through scale vibrations and posture. They weren't so different from earth wolves, really. And humans had domesticated wolves tens of thousands of years ago. Why stop now? By hour 60, the impossible had occurred. The Nexu pack, 7 in total, had integrated themselves into the human camp structure. They brought prey to share, which solved the food sustainability problem more effectively than foraging. They alerted Isla and Oliver to approaching weather systems with their behavioral changes. One even let Oliver ride on its back to scout a better water source. Command, we need to discuss this. A krill examiner's voice cut through the comm system. The humans have violated the spirit of the examination. How? Another voice countered. They've exceeded all 3 objectives. Their shelter is reinforced by pack guardians. Their food source is now abundant and renewable. And they've not just survived the predators, they've formed a symbiotic alliance. It's cheating. It's human. When the extraction pod arrived at hour 72, Isla and Oliver emerged to applause from half the observation deck and stunned silence from the other half. The Nexu pack followed them to the clearing, protective and clearly bonded. The head examiner, a towering Qualoon with skin like polished stone, descended from the ship. Its eye stalks swept over the scene. The fortified camp, the abundant food stores, the predators sitting obediently beside their human companions. In 500 years of administering this examination, it said slowly, no species has ever achieved what you've done here. Most consider it success to simply survive. You've thrived, and more than that, you've fundamentally altered the ecosystem dynamics. Oliver shrugged. We just did what humans do. We adapt, we build, we make friends. You've made allies of apex predators in 3 days, the examiner noted. 3 days here, Isla corrected, kneeling to embrace the Nexu she'd first fed. But our species has been doing this for 50,000 years. We turned wolves into dogs, wildcats into house cats. We've domesticated horses, cattle, chickens, even insects. It's kind of our thing. The examiner's skin rippled with what might have been amusement. Your species never ceases to be unsettling. You see a creature designed to hunt you and your first instinct is to make it love you. Is that a problem? Oliver asked. No, the examiner replied. It's why you'll be terrifying allies in the coming wars. Welcome to the Galactic Academy, candidates. Though I suspect you'll be teaching us as much as we teach you. As they boarded the extraction pod, Isla looked back at the Nexu pack. They'd leave them here, of course, this was their home. But she'd made sure they were well fed, and they'd learned that not everything that walked on 2 legs was prey. Think they'll remember us? Oliver asked. Isla smiled. Humans always leave a mark. That's what we do best. The pod lifted off carrying 2 humans who'd turned a survival exam into a masterclass in domestication. Behind them, 7 Nexu sat in perfect formation, watching their strange 2-legged pack members leave, already waiting for the next humans who would inevitably arrive and do something equally impossible. Because that's what humans did. They survived. They thrived. And they made friends with anything that didn't eat them first, and sometimes even those that tried.